Okay, here's the 3D resin color that I came up with to kind of simulate butterscotch. It's kind of like that orangish looking butterscotch color. That's my 3D printer, my resin 3D printer. By the way, over here is an example of like a catalin backgammon chip. I kind of like that shade of butterscotch catalin. You know, this is of course oxidized. The original color of this was like an alabaster, or whitish or cream color. And here's the first set of Tom Thumb, the automatic Tom Thumb simulated catalin knobs. They're going through a rinse right now. So there's 2 sets of feet and 2 sets of knobs, and it's pretty good. These are going to now, once these are cleaned and they go through the UV curing, then they will be airbrushed a kind of a darker, little translucent, darker butterscotch color to give them gloss and depth, and then they should look like catalin pieces, you know, knobs and feet to the Tom Thumb. The color will of course go all the way through, and the reason I'm doing with the resin printing is because for small parts like this, as opposed to the cabinet, these parts are printed with super high resolution. You don't see the layer lines or anything, especially once you airbrush them. You won't see any kind of layer lines. Even now you don't really see them. I mean, you don't. They're printed with such precision. And the layer lines are 50 micrometers thick. So anyway, go back into there. And there's a cabinet. And of course, that was printed with a Prusa filament printer. And that's the cabinet, and that's the chassis. Chassis I made. It's a working AM radio that has Bluetooth in it. Let me lift it here carefully. That's the guts of it. And it works great, by the way. It sounds just like a real tube radio. And there's my 100% fill. Took 3 days to print. Actually almost 4 days to print this. And this too will be sprayed with a red epoxy and made look the correct red. And it'll be all the way through red. And I have the grill cloth, an original piece of grill cloth. I have quite a bit of that, so I can make several of these. Very thick, solid. There's no, this is solid fill. It isn't hollow. So it's got good weight to it. Solid piece of plastic there. And then I'm going to do some techniques that will put very subtle swirls in here, yellowish butterscotch color, very subtle. I'm going to experiment with hydro dipping, but it's going to be on the very subtle scale. It's not going to be crazy like the guitars they do. You just barely see it here and there. And I'll do clear over that, and then probably another set of swirls and clear over that. So it's going to be built up with layers. So when it's all done and wet sanded and polished out to the right shine of catalin, to simulate catalin, I want it to, look like a real piece of catalin. And that's it. Oh, that's a piece of embossed gold. I'm also making the reproduction dials to the Deco Tom Thumb. So anyway, I'll show you more of those later.